Even with Pearl being out for months now, it can still feel like a maze to traverse, and even feel completely unintuitive at times. And while it definitely won't go down as the community's favorite map, we still have to learn and study its inner workings. That's why in today's video, we're going to break down objectively the hardest part of getting through any new map, and that's on the attacker side. Welcome back to Esports Driven, and we're going to showcase the strongest and most consistent attacking strategies to clutch you out of those precious rounds, along with the best of the best agents for the job. To start, let's get a better understanding of the intended play cycle of this map. There's two long paths to each bomb site and a secondary, shorter entrance, both stemming from mid. The corridors are claustrophobic and can be heavily influenced by utility. Pearl is also the only map to have 3 defender retake paths on both sites, which makes playing on site as an attacker close to impossible. From experience, this map is a lot of retaking as defenders, which appears to be the only working strategy to ticker a round win. And as attackers, it's not super viable or worth it to attain mid control with its choke pointy design, usually devolving into a deathmatch of utility spam. So with this acknowledged, what's the game plan here? We'll preface by saying Breach will play an integral role here. Getting through the narrow corridors of mid becomes a whole lot simpler with his explosive utility, and his fault line covers large portions of the map. Some great stuns for map control include the stun along Art from A main, which will let your team fully scale up with minimal resistance. This stun across the B site like this will stifle any aggression coming from B Link, and simultaneously hit Heaven, CT, behind the banner, and behind the generator. For smokes, there only appears to be 2 viable options, Brimstone and Astra. In Brim's case, the ability to insta-deploy 3 precise smokes at once is great for covering all of the defender entrances. His molly and ult for post-plant, especially knowing how post-plant oriented Pearl has become, will guarantee you value each time. And we don't need to explain why the Brimstone ult is good, as it's the most diverse and globally applicable piece of utility in the game. In Astra's case, placing down stars to suck or concuss enemies sitting in ratty corners is a must-have. While she doesn't have quite the smoking power Brimstone does, her potential to lurk and passively support the team is unmatched. Oh, and the Cosmic Divide on the B side is just begging to be placed for a free round. As for Sentinels, we might be seeing some of the Killjoy pick rate coming back for a change. Her ultimate on both sides is phenomenal for taking free map control, such as right here outside of the A site. This completely clears any resistance from A-Link and from Long. Her mollies make for great post-plant tools, and she wields 2 different abilities for corner clearing too. And to fill out the rest of this comp, a great in-your-face duelist is Phoenix. While he struggles to find pick rate on most maps, Pearl is an exception, just due to how well the map geometry fits into his utility. Run It Back will guarantee an entry pick, or at least set up a trade for the rest of the team. And for our info agent, we have to hand it off to Fade. Her prowlers are almost impossible to avoid, and with such a utility-focused map, every part of her kit gets to shine. Now let's briefly cover what to look for when exploring each part of the map, and where you as the attackers should be prioritizing. So just by studying the map layout for a few minutes, it becomes quickly apparent how unappealing going mid is. Both B and A Link essentially boil down to 2 long, narrow, claustrophobic choke points that when finally breached through, offer close to no extra site control than just going directly to the sites. I'm highlighting the differences here in yellow. Check out how open and forgiving the longer lanes are versus the cesspool that is mid. Not to completely phase mid out of the picture, it can be utilized for some nice lurk plays or for a surprise split push, but for simple, easy rounds, here's how to hit both of the sites with overwhelming success. On A recon such as a Fade Haunt over the construction walls will clear out any aggressing defender and secure the neutral zone for your team. A long breach stun spanning like this will take out 3 main positions, close right, behind the sight box, and deep into flowers. Smokes go down to block the line of sight from Art and flowers. A Phoenix or any flash duelist can entry out of the smoke, flashing close right and flashing into Art. Any kind of molly behind the sight box works great. Get the spike down by default and run back to set up the post plant. Any of your teammates on site will have to keep pushing for map control, and is why we didn't smoke secret, so that lane will be left open for taking further site control. For the B site, the operator will be the main obstacle to overcome. First off, have a flash duelist clear the opening angle and take the first fight. If nothing comes of it, keep pressuring the sniper off with various initiator utility, such as the Fade Haunt and Prowlers from earlier. Smokes go down for Heaven and CT. Don't immediately go for the plant once your team is taking the spike. You want to make sure there's nobody hiding in the back hall or behind the generator. Let your teammates on site hold the rotates off, and if that fails, you have the colossal amount of post-planning stalling utility under your belt to clutch out the round. Remember to occasionally incorporate the mid lurk into the mix, as this angle sets up a perfect spray down for the defenders not paying attention. These strategies and setups are from personal success in ranked games, but if you find running it down mid and annihilating their entire team as Neon works better for you, great. And we encourage that level of innovation, but it looks like this is going to be a pretty boring and uninspired map until some developer changes roll around. If you're looking to further expand your knowledge of maps, check out our theory crafting video discussing how Viper could potentially be retired as the meta controller on Breeze. Be sure to subscribe to Esports Driven if you like what you see, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.